I'm so excited to have with me today, back again. Okay, but this is like a different kind of back again because it's like from outer space. Rocket scientist Aisha Bowe. I'm so excited to have you here because I got so many questions about what you saw, how it felt, all the things that we saw on camera. We saw what we could see. But if there are words to be able to describe what you felt and what you saw. I don't even know if you could put language to it, but welcome to the show. Tell us how it felt to go to space.
It's impossible to describe. After I came home, I walked around my neighborhood trying to find the words to communicate how incredible of experience seeing the Earth from space is. And to tell you that I will forever be unchanged, I don't even know how to begin to approach the difference in the way that I think and the way that I feel from
Mm.
the experience. I really started to write and to try to put it into words because the earth and humanity is beautiful. And to see everything moving and to realize that we are all a miracle. We are all part of something that is impossible and yet probable. And to have all of the things that would have had to have gone right, that may have felt that they gone wrong at the time that they happened, to put me in this position, I feel grateful. I feel blessed. And I'm really excited to bring what it is that I experienced down to earth.
Wait a minute, you said something there that I want to tap into because just in personal development, the things that you thought may have gone wrong, that actually were the things that went right for you to arrive at that moment in time um is like, oh my god, like that alone is like, let's stay there for a moment because
Yeah.
I think that for people who are out there feeling like whatever they're dealing with is so much bigger than them, for you to have this moment where you see the planet that we're on in its entirety. And you mentioned movement. Talk to me about, from a visual standpoint, like it's what we've been told is that it's moving like at a rate and so slow that we can't feel it. But from there, did you actually see it moving, like see the world
Yes.
turning?
Yeah, because two things are happening simultaneously. The Earth is rotating, and our capsule also rotates. And so the two things rotating at the same time is just unbelievable. It's such a beautiful sight. But let's talk about the things that I thought went wrong. And I
Mhm.
want to take you beyond the headlines. When I was there, I flew a Bahamian patch. And people were like, okay, Bahamas, she's of Caribbean descent. But a lot of folks don't know that Alan Shepard, when he flew in 1961, he took off in the United States, he landed in the Bahamas. When you look at the history, it says just the Atlantic Ocean. And so for me to have my 92-year-old grandfather there, somebody who was born at a time when airplanes did not come to his island, that was not a thing where he was born. He was born in Exuma. To take an airplane to go watch his granddaughter go to space. And then
Mm.
for me to remind the world that it has always been about more than just the United States. It is the culture, it is the heritage, it is the people who come here who contribute that make it a better place. And that was my nod to where it was that I had come from, but also where I believe we are going towards a more inclusive future.
Mm. Is there anything? So tell me about the science of the capsule twisting, like of the capsule turning. Why is it necessary for the capsule to turn, and what does that mean from a scientific standpoint?
Well, the capsule turns because as you're turning, you're actually stable, right? So it has to do with the fact that we're taking off and the Earth rotates. It's about 2 degrees during the course of one of these launches. And the movement from the capsule is a way of stabilizing it as we are up. Now, in our particular capsule, one of the things that I did in this microgravity environment was I conducted the first HBCU experiment that was led by Winston-Salem on the New Shepard rocket. And it was also a predominantly female-led research team. And all of that occurred in the time and was actually marked by the audio in the capsule. If anybody was listening and they heard, me to activate the device, what you're really listening to is a timestamp so that when they go back and they analyze the experiment, they know exactly how long it was in microgravity.
How much can you tell us about the experiment? So what were they? Because I'm a bit of a nerd on this stuff. So what what were you activating? What
Yes.
could that do for us on Earth or
Mhm.
us in space? Like I want to know all about the experiment.
And I'm happy to tell you all about the experiment because this is what I wish got more air.
Hmm.
These students worked hard to not only have the opportunity to prepare and present an experiment, but to fly it. And for those of you out there who are in engineering or in science, you know how hard it is to get a slot, whether it's on the space station or in orbit. That is very, very, very hard. Most people will go their entire career and they will make things from for space that never fly into space. And so we
Mm.
were able to not only put this university at the forefront, but to take students, some of whom had not even graduated, and to be able to say, we're going to do world-class research. And what we looked at was genetically sequencing crop plants and the implications on food security here on Earth. I didn't want to do anything abstract. I wanted to do something that directly related to, can we grow crops like sweet potato in inhospitable environments here on Earth? Because
Mm.
we have areas right now that are hard to grow in. And so all of this is Winston-Salem's domain. When I was working at NASA, I became aware of the excellence in astrobotany that they have at their institution. And we actually did what I call a twofer. We did the experiment and we used what kind of looks like a syringe. It's sort of you plunge the device to activate. And the flight hardware was also qualified from a company called BioServe, which means that not only did we do the research, but anybody who flies after me can use that same device now to do their own research in space.
Wow. Okay, so let me wrap my head around it. So what we're saying is, this excites me, that there could be a possibility that we could grow crops in anti-gravity environments
Mhm.
that could help us with food insecurity on Earth.
Yes, because and research
Mm.
of this nature had been happening for years prior. We were actually looking to corroborate previous NASA findings. And if you know anything about science, if you get a result one time, it's interesting, but if you get a result multiple times, then it starts to become a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And so people have said, well, Aisha, I think this has been done before. We're validating previous results. And we're doing it in a different scenario to ensure that the results that were achieved before are in fact the right ones and real. And when we look at plants in space, what we know is that it's harder to grow them. And so if you can grow them up there, you can definitely grow them down here. And we want to become better at that so that we don't have areas that don't have fresh plants and access to food.
Why do you think this didn't get as much play? This is super interesting to me. Like I'm listening to you talk about this. It's solving a real world problem that we know is happening in multiple areas across the US alone, right?
Mhm.
Not even, we didn't even talk about beyond here, it's happening for sure. And this could be revolutionary for food security. Why do you think that this particular part of it didn't get as much play.
Well, I think a lot of what you saw was about engagement, right? When you read the
Mm.
headlines, there were the things that you click. Now, I will say, I absolutely love being a meme with Gail. It was funny. I came back to Earth and I was smiling, right? Because, ringing the bell. This is like the Met Gala of space, baby. Okay. I did not come to play. I was ready. I was excited. But there are some real things here that I think are going to be left to future generations, like Hidden Figures. I had the personal flight bag of an Apollo astronaut. And from that flight bag, sorry, I had a artifact from the flight bag that was with me. It was his personal American flag that he took to the moon.
Wow.
The Museum of Flight in Seattle went into the display to go get that American flag to go fly with me as a symbol of the past, the present, and the future of space. But you probably did not hear about that, right? Most people will never see or touch anything from an Apollo program. And I had it with me in that flight in my bag. And now that flag, which just went back to the museum, has the Apollo certification of flown in space, and it has the certification with my flight. And it also has a picture of me in my suit with that American flag. And so I just think that what's going to happen, and what I love about talking with you is that there are so many things that people would have wanted to know
Hmm.
that they are not going to find out until they talk to me, until they see the documentary, until they read the book, and they're going to go, oh, wow. And that, that is that's the world we live in, that's sort of driven by media and engagements and clicks. But let me tell you, there was something really real that happened there.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you again, because I'm like, there has to be more to it. Like this is coming from your level of expertise and your experience. The science of it all is what I'm like what happened there? What did you see? What did you feel? What was that environment like? That's the part that's really important to me. I mean, listen, if people are upset with Katy Perry or they're upset with Gail, like whatever, you know what I mean? I think that that's not necessarily, it is what it is in terms of, like you said, the clickbait and what tends to go viral. But the real change underneath all of this is what I want to talk about. Now, have these leaders' lives also been changed for their life? I'm pretty sure. Like there's no way you do that and you're not changed. And
You,
whatever vanity metrics people want to attach to it, that's neither here nor there. I want to know about the science. Like I want
but
to know.
but like the coolest thing for me about this flight was a lot of people stopped watching rocket launches until this one. There are middle schools and there are high schools that watch. In my neighborhood, I live around a couple schools, and I've kind of been a rock star because these little kids are going to school with their parents and they see me and they're like waving at me, and their parents are like, come on, come on, come on. And the kids are just like, because their classrooms watched. And like, I have some friends of mine who have daughters who, I don't usually hear from because they're raising their kids, and it can be a lot being a parent of a young child. And they're texting me and they're like, Aisha, I went to go wake up my daughter today and she had gotten up early and she built a spaceship out of Legos. And I was like, I mean, the kids love it. And they're excited. I have a lot of little girls that wrote me and said, I'm going as you as Halloween. I can't wait. I'm already practicing what I'm going to say. I'm Aisha Bowe. And I think it's been a long time since we had that
Mm,
kind of national level projection
mhm.
of a woman of color, right? In a position where I got 2 degrees in aerospace engineering. I've owned my own engineering company for 12 years. We did science with an HBCU. We had a world artifact from the Apollo program. I carried over 200 postcards with dreams from kids from Kenya, from India, from the Bahamas. And all those dreams are going to get marked flown in space and get returned to those students so that they can have a piece of space at home with them. But what people saw and what they heard was not that.
Yeah. Which is why I want to platform that for sure. I want to make sure we platform that. because because this is the impact. And so I want to talk to you. We talked about a little bit of impact just there, but I want to hear from you. What other impact do you think this had? And then what impact do you want to see it have long term? Because it's not just a moment or a notion. Like when you talk about the food insecurity and the idea of this experiment and what it could go for Winston-Salem State, and then like this could spark so much, I think, in terms of other HBCs or other colleges, how they're going to go about it. What do you see in your vision for the longer term impact? Especially you have a documentary coming out, you have a book coming out, and I'm sure you'll be touring and speaking about this, for years to come. What is your hope for it? Because I think we talked before, and I'm like, what do you think before you got there? Now you went there, now what you is it? Has anything changed? Do you see anything bigger
Yeah.
impact or other impact? What are you thinking?
What I want people to know is that you matter. You have power and you can change the world into how you want it to be. When you look at me, I'm somebody who I never thought I was going to be an engineer. I never thought I was going to be a business owner. And I sure as heck never thought that I would be one of less than 10 Black women to go that high ever, right? And what my story shares is that if you decide that you want to change the world, you absolutely can do it, right? Dream it, plan it, and go do it. I did not get that seat as a gift. I raised the money for this seat, right? There are people who are writing and they're like, we remember when you were at this conference and you were like raising the money and we were kind of joking like, hee, ha, ha, ha. She's raising money for a spacesuit. And then we saw you on CBS with Gail. I'm like, bet, right? And so what I hope the impact of this is going to be more people not only seeing themselves in the field, but realizing that you can make your own kind of success, right? Go build the rocket companies, go build the education companies, go build the billion-dollar startups that are going to shape the future. And for me, that looks like taking my education company, which is called Lingo. We had reached 10,000 students prior to the launch. I developed 2 new STEM lessons that are space themed that can go right into high school. And my mission now is to reach 1 million students, especially the historically underrepresented and underserved. I want to give you skills that can help you do the same thing that I did, only do it better and have it be your own thing. And so what I'm motivated to do is how can I share, how can I create, how can I uplift, how can I empower and leave people of this, like with this remarkable story of like, look, Aisha Bowe did that, so can you.
You were really inspirational even before this, like motivational, like listening to you in our last interview. And I'm like, I was inspired to do things. And that doesn't come easy because I see a lot of people speak and I'm like, okay, that was great. But I think that your energy that you carry, it's bigger than just the words you're saying. You just got signed by CAA. Congratulations on that. I'm excited to see what you develop and what is more to come. So when it's time for the documentary release and all those things, don't forget about us. Come right back here so we can talk about those things and help push them. And you are already in this inspirational space. I'm wondering now, just on your day to day, just like your everyday life, is there any perception shifting that like now that you've seen the world turn, you've experimented in space among a great group of other women. Is there anything from a day to day where you're like, before I left, I was thinking, yeah, but now I'm really thinking, yeah, like, is there anything that's like that?
Yeah, I mean, the mission for me was not an end, it was a beginning.
Mm,
And it was like, Aisha, this is amazing, but you have to go back. And if you listen to the
okay.
broadcast, they're checking to make sure that we're in there. Because people are like, you came out of the capsule and you look fabulous. And I was like, yes, yes, I did.
Did you
Because
feel
it had been,
fabulous or did you have any like shaking in
I
like,
I felt like a new person. And when they
mm,
asked me, they're like, Exuma was my call sign for the name of the island my grandfather was born on. And I was like, Blue Calm, I'm good. When do I go back? So for
Mm.
me, this is the beginning of an entirely new phase where I'm making space for all. I want the kids out there, the little girls, the little boys who are building the Legos. I want to help empower you to do this, right? I have endowments at the community college. I'm working on endowments at the university. I want to take finance out of education so people can go and study these fields. I really want to be a beacon for people, even if you're not in aerospace, I don't care. Just go do it, right? Somebody who is mediocre is out there doing exactly what you want to do because they think that they can and they should. Okay, go and do it. And that's really what I know that I'm here to do because I have been blessed with such an incredible life journey where I overcame all the things that I thought were going to crush me. And God has given me this incredible testimony, not for me to sit in my condo in DC and sit on it, but for me to talk to you and talk to the world and share it and leave something so other people can do the same.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey with us. And I'm rooting for you. I'm so freaking excited. Like every time I talk to you, I see you, and I'm like, come on, girl. Yes, yes, yes. Like I'm so excited for you. And everybody here, everybody listening, we're gonna be cheering you on. So thank you for coming and sharing and spending time with us as much as you do. And we're gonna be watching. We will be inspired. And I empower and encourage everybody out there to take your first step. Your first step gets you to your next launch. So I'm so excited, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's a wrap. Uh,
Listen, we need dolls. You know how many little girls
yeah,
came up
we
to
need a
me
we,
and
we
they were
need a
like,
Barbie. What's up? Come on, CAA, get us a Barbie. What we doing?
and one of these other girls was like, Disney needs a space princess who's black. And
Oh, a space
I was like,
princess.
you know what? You're right. None of the Sailor Moon chicks were black. So like,
They were not. They were not. I love the idea of a space princess. I mean, this is like the frontier that's left, right? So we got Brave, we have New Orleans Queen. We got, like we got all the things. Now we need to go out of space with it. Hey, let's go.
right? Like,
And if it's gonna be somebody, it's got to be you. You know what I mean? Like, come on, what are we doing? Let's get this Barbie popping. You got the nice Barbie face and everything.
well,
We gonna get you right.
thank you.
We gonna
But
see a if nothing else, CAA gonna definitely get you a Barbie.
that we're working to see from your mouth to God's ears, right? Like, so, but I just want to just say personally, like, thank you. Thank you for having me, back and like wanting to look at, you know, what really happened that was of substance. Because, Katie's got a couple 100 million followers. Obviously, Gail, Lauren, they have huge audiences. And I can't wait till this is like an eighth grade class. And they're gonna be like, but
Mm,
Aisha Bowe. But Aisha Bowe. Like, so
yeah, no, I'm excited about that. I'm excited
yeah.
for you about that too. I think because your message is just so motivational, transformational. When we talk about like, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. I think we need it on
Yes.
all levels, and to see it in rocket science is the place we have not seen it, and that it needed to be. So yeah, I'm pleased. Anytime you want to come back, just let us know. I'm excited for the documentary, and we'll be promoting it and all the things because it's so important that we listen to the science. The science,
Yes.
the science right now and the research, I feel like people are not seeing as much. And I'm like, honestly, I don't care about the Katy Perry stuff. I mean, no shade, no shade to her, but it's like, what do we discover? Let's talk about
Right.
the discovery of something. And I honestly wish they were also talking about the science more as well too. But I think that's something to think about in the future in terms of like how do we equip all voices that were on the actual trip to be able to talk about the science. So I think that's the most important thing.
I don't think that they thought people cared. Like it's like this weird
Mm,
thing where a lot of media is driven by celebrity, right?
yeah,
So all of a sudden people are like, well, we want facts and we want science. And I don't think that they realize that. Because like when people talk to me, like I talked to a couple hundred Black women the other day, and they were like, oh, we need our own. So like just one-on-one with you. They're like, somebody needs to call like a Black people meeting, and we need to just talk to you. Because they were like, this is what we came for, but we didn't see it,
we
right?
did. And
So
yeah, I don't, and I anyway, I got so many. That takes a drink, okay, to talk about why we think, like, why do the people think they wouldn't care about science? So many of us care about the science. So many people care about the science. I think that anyway, industry driving what everybody supposedly thinks. I think that thank God that social media is cracking some of that.
Right.
It's like, hey, no, actually, we don't like that thing y'all keep saying we like. You just keep showing us that. It's like, no, we
That's
want to know about the science. I want to know, what did you discover? What did you see? Was the ocean moving back and forth? Did you see some a tornado? Some like I want to know, like, what did it look like? And so, like, even when I'm looking at the video, I'm like, y'all look cute and all that, but can somebody like zoom in on the window? Because I'm trying to see, like, I'm trying to see
like
as much as I
I
can.
I wouldn't, I mean, I think here's what I'll leave you with, right? And like I've kind of been picking and choosing how to share this, right? I feel like it's like a religious experience. It's sort of like
Mm,
seeing the face of God and then having to
mm,
go back and tell everybody else who didn't see him that you promised that he was there. Because
mm,
you are literally looking at life against death because space is a vacuum. It sucks up everything. And it is so dark that all of us, we looked up, we were like, oh, don't look at that. That's scary. Look down, look down. Because you realize that you have never seen the color black before.
mm.
No one has, because everywhere on earth something grows. And so there's no such thing as black on earth. It does not exist. And then when you look at Earth and it's spinning and everything is just like unreal, right? The air is moving, the land's moving, the water's moving, like it's just all moving. You don't just see humanity, you feel it. You
Mm,
actually feel it. And the way that I would describe that, right, is like if you've ever gone to anybody's house and they have a pet there, you can feel that an animal lives there, even though you might not see it, right? That dog could be outside, but you know there's like an animal that's in that house. And the feeling from space is like 1,000 times that, right? Like you, because every person is a heartbeat, it's an energy, they're emitting something. And so you see that against this vacuum of nothing, and it is so stark, and you're just like, how is it that 1 billion living things are emitting energy against nothingness?
what do
And
stars look
that's,
like?
well, we can't see them. So that was, so
Ah,
we're not high enough
okay.
to, it's almost like light pollution on Earth, right? So like you know the
Mm,
Milky Way is there, but if you're in New York, you're not going to see it. If you're in Zanzibar, you could probably see it. So that was the other thing. Like if you listen, if you saw the recording, I don't know what they showed. Lauren is like, "Oh my God, the moon," because the moon was like the brightest thing, and it was
mm,
super dark, and the sun is actually white. It's not yellow. So you see this white, blinding light, right? It's like, boom, almost like you're getting abducted. And then because we're turning, so as you turn, you get like sun, moon, right? And you're just like,
mm.
so you're rotating because it's how it stabilizes. I don't want to get too nerdy, but like you basically when you rotate something, that's the best way to stabilize it before it falls. But then you feel humanity. And you're just like, that's why when you see William Shatner, every time he's crying, because it is the most intense thing to be in
Mm.
the light of all these human beings that are literally radiating life. And it sounds kind of like fluffy and frou-frou, but that's why I spent 5 days wandering around in my neighborhood because I'm like, I have seen something that lets me know that this the God down here is the God up there, right?
Mm.
Like like literally I have glimpsed creation and it is stunning and it is beautiful and it is more emotional than I could have ever thought. And I have to hope that when I tell people they believe me.
Wow. I believe you because I'm all into the things. I'm woo woo as they come. So I'm the
You got to
energy of
go.
meeting. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you have to go. And like my last thing is like Katie Gale, okay, listen. Most technologies were not developed for the poor. I'm sorry to break it to humanity. They were developed for the people who could afford it. Now, that doesn't mean that the people without means can't use it, but most companies need to make money in order to mass manufacture. So when you're trying to make something that's basically going to be like space airplane, you need to sell it to people who can afford to go, right? And
Yeah,
like
that's
that's
where
that's what got like kind of mixed here is like, yes, I get it, they're celebrities and people wanted them to be trained, but this was literally like when we first started flying airplanes or when we first had iPhones
Hmm.
or when we first had cars, and we needed people who had more means and more awareness to share.
Now I want to go. So, all
You
right, let
should
me know when
go.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Listen, I want to raise, and this is like I've been thinking about this, and I promise I'm done, but like I really want to create the like Black Space Fund. I need to find a cute name for it, right? But I really want to raise a fund to send us to space. Because the idea that all of our names fit on an effing t-shirt is terrible, right? And it's not even all the way down. Like Gail is like basically like here on the shirt. Like we need to be a whole front and a whole back, and I don't want to wait for people to choose us anymore. But that's like in my, I got to make some more
Yeah,
money
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
start this fund. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. I know you gotta go. Okay. Thank you so much.